We gotta
So
get together. Get together.
all right. So let's talk about some. Let's talk about some NFL. I know we talked briefly about the Lions.
Can I go off on a rant on the Chargers?
Hold on. Is it your shots fired rant?
Shots are about to be fired here.
Here we go.
With I believe that I sent you guys the tweet from Warren Sharp yesterday. The Chargers are severely overrated,
Okay.
which brought me to Brandon Staley being the first coach fired this year, because the way that their season went last year obviously was a huge disappointment with the way that they're up 27-0 in the playoffs. I got to get rolling after this though, but I will go on this rant. The Chargers, they went 10-7 last year, right? They won the they had a wild card spot. They went on the road to Jacksonville because obviously they play in the AFC West and Kansas City has that. But 10 games last year they won. You know who they beat, Nate? Yeah, I'm going to give you the list of quarterbacks that they beat last year.
Go ahead.
They beat Davis Mills. What do you think about? Give me one word to describe these quarterbacks.
Legend.
I say Jake and Nate, give me one word to describe the quarterback that I say that the Chargers beat last year. Davis Mills.
Overperformer. If that's a
Huge
word.
neck.
Marcus Mariota.
Legs.
Yeah. Legs.
Marcus Mariota. Terrible.
Running back.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett.
Who?
Love his barbecue.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett. Cooked as brisket. Don't be mean here. Baker Mayfield.
Washed.
Great dancer.
Very good dancer. Nick Foles.
Great
Has been.
Yeah. Russell
RPO
Wilson.
champ. What did I say, Russell Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous.
It's 2 words, but I'm going to say it. Maybe 3 words. Broncos, let's ride.
Ryan Tannehill.
Best quarterback ever.
Choke artist.
Yep. Kyler
Wide
Murray.
receiver. He's not even a quarterback. He's a wide receiver.
It's not 1 word, but it's going to be 3 letters put together to make a word. Cod.
I will say toddler.
Yes. Derek Carr.
Goat, bro. Freaking legend, man.
Eyeshadow.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Concussions.
Yeah. So what I just gave you in those names were the 10 quarterbacks that the Chargers beat last year. They won 3 games all year by more than a touchdown, and that was against Davis Mills, Nick Foles, and the Rams when they had Baker playing quarterback.
Yeah.
So the Chargers, 10-7, obviously severely overrated because of that list right there. I really don't think that they are good. I think that they are going to fire Brandon Staley before any other coach.
Are we doing reverse sleepers?
No, we're just talking like I'm just ranting about how I think the Chargers are terrible.
I think that would be in the segment, reverse sleepers.
Yeah, it is.
We'll do that come fall.
Yeah,
but this is that's a good reverse sleeper. What's a reverse sleeper?
A waker.
A waker. These are not
to get
these
confused with a wanker. Just saying.
These are awakers.
Okay, the Chargers. The Chargers don't. They play a decent amount of good quarterbacks this year. So they go Tua, Tannehill, Cousins, Jimmy G, Dak, Mahomes, Fields, Rodgers, Goff, Love, Lamar, running back, Mac Jones, Russell Wilson, Garoppolo, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Mahomes. They play a hell of a lot better quarterbacks than they did last year. I can tell you. Chargers to miss the playoffs. Is that a prop?
Can I get 8-8?
You can bet exact win totals on FanDuel. So shout out FanDuel.
FanDuel. We'd love to. That's a good sponsorship.
Yep.
But I would say that
is that a prop that I need to bet on?
It might be. If you feel that adamant about it, I would encourage you to put your money down.
If I can get Chargers to miss the playoffs at plus money, I would do it.
You'll get it at plus money. I think their win total is set at like 10.
Yeah, really? I would bet under on that.
I'd under on that one all day. That's an under for me. The overs club is under.
See, this is where they get you. Chargers to make the playoffs, yes, minus 115, no, minus 105. You're gonna get minus money on both sides of the results. That's everyone's middling right now.
Who's in their division?
Chiefs, Raiders.
The Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Broncos.
That's why, because they're going to have to go in as a wild card because they all know that the Chiefs are going to be a lock for the division. I mean, for their division. So I mean, that's why it's at minus money on both sides.
Yeah,
it's kind of a given on that one.
Win totals. What if we did the Chargers regular season win total under 9.5 is plus money?
Under 9, I'll give them that.
9. Well, 9 wins. 9 wins, like 9 and 8, we're a winner.
Yeah,
at plus money.
I said 8 and 8. I said 8 and 8 for them.
They 8 and 9. That wins. They have to go 10 and 7 to lose that bet.
Yeah.
Exact regular season win total. Can we go Los Angeles Chargers to win exactly 9 games is plus 600? Ooh.
Not a bad beat. It's not a bad beat, man. I'm just saying it's not bad.
I like the beat. I mean, you've done your research. You think the head coach is a fraud, and they're just kind of just scheming up Kellen Moore to be the new guy.
They're losing 2 games that guaranteed to the Chiefs right out of the gate.
2 versus Chiefs. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, and then they'll split with the Broncos probably, right?
They'll split with the Broncos.
You would hope the Broncos become more. You honestly would hope that Wilson gets his life back together this year.
Mm-hmm.
He does. Hey, he looks really healthy.
Also, I said this to
8-8 team.
I said this to Nate earlier, Jake, but they are sleeping hardcore on Watson's passing yard total.
Yeah.
It's 35-25, which averages out to 207 yards a game if he plays in every game.
Are they thinking he's going to get hurt though? I mean, I'm not hoping for the man's injury, right?
Yeah. I don't know if they think that.
Because you got to think he's going to have, if he's anything like he was with Houston, he's going to smash that.
Yeah. For reference, Joe Burrow's over/under is 43-25, 1,000 yards higher. Than that.
Maybe they're banking on more running. They run the ball more.
They have Geno Smith at 38-25.
Yeah, I'm smashing the 25. As a proud Geno Smith owner in some dynasty leagues, I'm smashing the under on everything because he just signed that contract and he needs to prove it to me again.
They have CJ Stroud's at 3,200. Like Jeez. you're literally like Jacoby Brissett.
But is it because the Browns' run game is so effective is why they're doing this?
But the thing is, they already said that we're gonna be passing the ball a hell of a lot more. Like we saw that in the last 6 games. Come on, Brooks, we need this. Brooks, 2 birdies in a row. 2 birdies in a row for Brooksy.
Yeah, what channel is that on?
Oh, it's USA. On USA.
Beautiful.
I think that number's set because they're still going to run the ball. They might them saying they're going to open up the passing game still means they're running the ball.
I mean, here's the thing.
Of the time.
But if they're going to pass the ball more, and they ran it a lot last year, but here's the thing: if Nick Chubb gets 17 carries a game, like that's probably where he's going to live. Like he's going to go like 17 for like 8,500 yards a game, and then we're going to throw the ball 40 something times.
Okay, I mean, I feel like that's way too much. Because I'm a balanced guy when it comes to offenses anyway. But I would say if they do have the wide receivers to do it. Finally, And if he is that guy like he was with the Texans, then
3,500 yards. Dude, Jacoby Brissett, if we pass the ball 5% more than what we did with Jacoby last year, Jacoby was averaging like 212 yards passing a game. You're going to tell me that Deshaun Watson isn't going to average more than Jacoby Brissett passing a game? Like, come on.
I don't think so.
That's my Chargers rant and the Deshaun. But
it's a good rant.
That's my rant, and I do have to get rolling on.
You got to get rolling.
Yep.
All right, that's a good rant, Scott. Thank you for coming to the porch and talking some football and
lock it in.
Lock it in.
Brandon Staley first.
Book it. Brandon Staley, first head coach fired.
Yes. See you later.
See you later, Scott. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, talk to y'all later.
Bye, bud. All right, that is Scott, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to reach out to him, he is at Back Porch Scott on his Twitter, and I think that's it. So it's just Jake and I. So, all right, Jake.
Listen, dude, if it's just me and you, we gotta have some SEC talk in here. I'm just saying.
I've been waiting on this.
Listen,
so
we can do our over unders right now for the season if you want, because it's just me and you. We're the only SEC guys on this.
I want to hold on.
I know. We need to wait. We need to wait.
But if you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that, we have put out Big 10 over under and Big 12 over under. We can get into that, but I'm trying to save the SEC and Pac-12.
We can sprinkle a little bit of what's going on in the SEC right now.
Yeah,
though,
we can talk.
Just not talk. We don't need to talk win totals because we can save that. But we can talk about pulse of the conference. We can talk 24 schedule because we're not going to talk about that on our over under show.
No,
at all.
24 schedule just dropped. Texas, Oklahoma coming to the SEC next year. It's the most electric thing ever since the toaster oven. I'm really super excited about it. I really can't fathom next year how fun each weekend is gonna be.
It's gonna be electric, dude. It's gonna be great.
Like, I just see so many doubleheaders. On like how the SEC network itself, they're gonna have a 12 a game. They're gonna have a 12 o'clock game, a 4 o'clock, and an electric night game. Like, it's insane. Great. Like, there's no off week.
No,
at all.
Did you as a Tennessee fan? So I know your two biggest rivals, right, are Georgia and Bama, right? Who's your?
It's technically our two biggest rivals are Florida and Georgia, or is Florida and Alabama.
Okay, so they kept y'all playing Georgia, right?
Yes.
Dude, tell me how, as an Auburn fan, and you'll understand this as a SEC guy. How do we not get LSU on our schedule for 24? They left off. We've been playing them every year since 1991. There's been some of the craziest games ever.
Oh, I'm with you.
That's the one game I was like,
y'all's
what?
LSU is like Tennessee's Kentucky.
Yeah, it's weird that we're not going to play them
because Tennessee's played Kentucky since the dawn of football, since like 1822.
And they're also leaving off the new Lane Kiffin rivalry. We don't play Ole Miss, which is so strange.
Yeah, that is strange. Alabama doesn't even play the Mississippi schools.
Which is, I mean, I'm not mad about our schedule by any means, but like, as a person that loves college football rivalries, man, there's nothing better than the Tiger Bowl.
They had to,
mid-season.
You know what I mean? When it came to the schedules, I will say this. It was probably, if I was in those rooms, it would be really hard to schedule out 24.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Because everybody has to play Texas or Oklahoma. So you have to give away something. So
no, that's true. Now, I'm not mad about it. It's just I thought it was so strange that they left off.
Yeah. But
we would have gotten them at home. That would have been the best part.
I feel personally that they did their best job in making it fair. Because Alabama's got to play Georgia. They got to play LSU. They got to play Tennessee. They got to play Texas. And then their non-conference, they got to play Wisconsin in Wisconsin.
Yep. No, it's
so it's fair. Georgia's got to play a freaking gauntlet as well. They have to go to Texas, which is awesome. And they play Clemson as well.
Yep.
In their non-conference. So,
we get Cal.
Y'all get Cal at home. I believe
after having to play him at 10:00 at night this year.
I don't know who Tennessee plays in 24 as their non-conference. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, NC State. So we play NC State week 1, and then a couple small schools, and that's it. But Florida to me, Florida 1, they have a very hard SEC schedule, but 2, they have to put non-conference is Miami, UCF, and Florida State. Like, they don't have to leave the state, but that's tough. That is real tough. So, kudos to the ADs creating that schedule for Florida. That's a really tough one on my when you look at the SEC 24 opponent schedules. Now the schedule are not out yet, so we'll see that later later on in the year, and they announce the actual dates of the schedules. So, but it looks super fun. Super exciting. It's just like the Big Ten when they announced their 24 and 25 schedules as well. The SEC, in looking forward to 23, this season is going to be really fun. It's going to be super boring if you're a Georgia fan because Georgia plays nobody until November when they play Tennessee. But if you are a fan of LSU, if you're a fan of Auburn, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, there's a lot to take in before the season. The portal, all those teams have grabbed players in the portal. The portal guys have left those teams. These head coaches are looking at another run this year. Starting with South Carolina, they're over under at 7.5 this year. I don't want to give my personal win totals, but a lot of people are saying they're going to go under just because how tough their schedule is. But we'll see. We'll see with what Shane Beamer can do in year 3. I think if you move on to Kentucky has another really good opportunity this year with Coach Stoops to be competitive. They're bringing in a better quarterback than Will Levis, in my opinion, and Devin Leary this year. Their biggest question mark, though, is their offensive line. Kentucky's going to have a really good wide receiver staff. They brought in a bunch of guys from the portal for that. Defense, they're going to be fine. But will Devin Leary have enough time to throw the ball? That's the biggest question mark for the Kentucky Wildcats this year. But you're going to get the same brand Kentucky the week in and week out, that hard knocks, tough as nails, Bob Stoops, not Bob Stoops, but Coach Stoops style Kentucky team. And their schedule is favorable where they can get some upsets. So I know we're just talking SEC right now, 23 schedule. Just kind of diving into some teams, what to expect, new players coming in the portal, what to expect with these coaches, all kinds of stuff. It's besides, Georgia and Alabama, we're not going to talk about them, but we'll talk about Kentucky, South Carolina. I just did. Shane Beamer year 3.
Well, we can't talk about Auburn because it would take an hour with all the portal guys.
We can talk Auburn. I mean, there's a free morning.
They brought
he just keeps recruiting, man.
They brought in so freaking many portal guys. I mean, like,
that's what you have to do.
He did the right thing, but he did something that we haven't done in 7-8 years, and that's bring in offensive linemen, and then they brought in a nice little quarterback from up north from Michigan State.
State, he's pretty good.
I mean, I could literally spend an hour or two talking about everything Auburn's done. All I know is that I know we're not doing win totals today, but just I'm smashing the over, and I'm not saying they're going to be way over. The ceiling for Auburn is 9 wins, floor is 6 wins, or 6 or 7 wins. So I mean that's where I'll leave it. I won't get too much into detail on it, but I mean, as far as players they brought in, dude, there's Hugh Freeze has come in and absolutely just destroyed all expectations that people had for him. I mean, you can leave all the allegations and crap aside right now. He brought in a ridiculous number, the number 2, I think, transfer portal class. Then he brought in took a top 60 2023 class, high school recruits, and moved them into the top 20. I mean, jump 40 place. I mean, they have no reason. I mean, Peyton, I think it's Peyton Thorne, or I know his last name is Thorne, is for, quarterback wise is going to be competing with Robbie Ashford. And even if Ashford doesn't win the job, man, I mean, the dude's going to be coming in on specific packages and stuff. I mean, his legs are unreal.
Even if Ashford doesn't get the start or whatever, he's still going to be developed because they actually have a legit QB coach and a legit offense, coordinators. I don't know. I haven't done the over under on Auburn yet. I really dived into it, but I know you're gonna get a very competitive team.
Yeah.
So if just because we're playing Auburn this week, you better hold it on tight because they're gonna play you all the way to the fourth quarter, and you might win because they might run out of depth, but just hold your britches because they're gonna know you played a team. All year long. You're going to play a well-coached team. You're going to play a team that the coach's staff is going to scheme up something and make adjustments.
But you got to remember, you talk about their depth, but here's the thing people forget about last year. Before that coaching staff was fired, Derek Hall and guys like Derek Hall, Derek Hall's in the NFL now. I think he's with Seattle. I could be wrong on that, but those guys played all but like 3 snaps a game. That coaching staff didn't take their defensive players off the field. They didn't rotate them. And our depth may not be Alabama or Georgia's depth, but dude, I will promise you right now, there's not a team not named Georgia and Alabama that shouldn't circle Auburn and think they can come in and kick our teeth in.
Absolutely.
Which is different from last year.
It's complete taking the same exact players. It's all about leadership. It's all about who's manning the ship. I look at Auburn, like I've already discussed this to you. I look at Auburn, where they're sitting right now is year one Heupel. Year one Heupel, he had no players. They had 30 of them left to the portal. He had no depth at all, like past like the second guys. Like there was no third string guys. And year one, he took him to the Music City Bowl. Yeah. And that's super impressive because the outlier, the equalizer was his offense. That's it.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that. Equalizer was the offense. Defense was literally made up by chicken wire, duct tape, and zip ties. That was literally the defense. But he, like Freeze, came in and never said in any of his interviews, "Oh, this is development year. This is whatever year." No, this is a year I'm going to get the guys I need to do. I want to win now. And they know the assignment. Freeze knows the assignment just like Heupel knows the assignment. Win now.
He already said straight up, if I don't have top 10 recruiting classes by 2025, you can just fire me because I won't be here because I won't have a good enough roster.
Yeah.
He wants to win now. He's showing that right now in the recruiting.
And that's exactly what Heupel did. Like Hype, literally year one, like people are interviewing him, stuff like that, or all the talking heads during Dog's Eggs this summer. They're just talking about, if Tennessee just wins 3 or 4 games, wow, that's a big improvement with this roster. And it's like you look at the players he brought in the transfer portal, and you're like, I don't know, man. I think he's trying to win. He's trying to go a bowl game right now.
Yeah, Auburn will make a bowl game this year.
Auburn's going to make. There's no doubt. Make a bowl game, no doubt. I believe Auburn's going to be in
with that trash Liberty team Bowl. We had last year. We were a game off.
Yeah. All your the equal factors this year with Auburn is going to be the transfer guys coming in to add depth, the coaching staff, and then the home games.
Yep. Problem is you're going to get
Georgia somebody.
Georgia,
you're going to get somebody.
You're going to get Georgia. Yeah, I think maybe it's LSU, but it's in Death Valley and 2 times in a row in Death Valley winning.
Yeah, y'all don't you're not scared of Death Valley. Auburn's never been scared of Death Valley. I believe Auburn's going to get one. They're a trap. They're literally a walking trap.
And something we can flip to and talk about real quick in the SEC still is the two big head personalities at Texas A&M going to be too much? So we see Jimbo fired because those two can't get along, and he says, "No, I'm going to just run the offense again." It's a question a lot of analysts are talking about.
The coin flip for them, but that's he had to bring somebody in, and he honestly, we can talk A&M football. A&M football is still with the best rosters, 2-year rosters they've had. There's a ton of depth there. They needed offensive. Not saying their offense wasn't good. It was just saying Jimbo's system is too complicated. He can still do it, but they needed to bring in a guy in like Bobby Petrino who knows how to run a highfalutin, high-scoring offense. You equal that with A&M's defense, which did not lack last year at all. Their defense is going to be just as good this year, or even more, even better. You add Bobby Petrino with the skill players that he has, I think Jimbo just needs to be how Brian Kelly did. He comes down, he's a politician. Just shake the hands, kiss the babies. You're gonna have to. He's at that point in his career where he has to. Bobby Petrino is looking for that, this is the first time back in the SEC since Arkansas. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm back and I'm still freaking good. And this is his chance to prove that. Quarterback wise, it's all about based on the quarterback. I know Bobby Petrino can score it, but they still have a tough schedule. They have a very tough schedule. And they have a tough middle of the year where it's like I could pull up their schedule right now, but I know that they go to Knoxville, they go to Tuscaloosa, they go to South Carolina. And it's like there's no bye week, so it's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
So if anything, they're gonna be good, but they're gonna maybe come up short on a couple of these games just because how their schedule lines up. They don't get a break in between games, right? So last year's Tennessee team, the reason why they won 11 games is because there was actually breaks in between. You weren't playing in Alabama and then a South Carolina. You were playing in Alabama, UT Martin in between, and then a South Carolina. So you got a lot of chance for your guys to get rest. So it depends on how their schedule lines up, but I have them winning 9 games. There's my over right there, because I think the over was like 8.5 for them.
Yeah,
I have them winning 9 games this year, and getting Alabama this year. I think Alabama loses to them.
Texas A&M was a 7.5.
7.5. Yeah, so I'm giving them 9. I'm giving them 9.
That's fair. I don't think I had them with that at all.
Here's the scariest.
I don't believe in them. I think I had them at 8. I had them over 7.5. I think I had them winning 8 games though.
Here's the scariest notion of the entire SEC. Ole Miss. No one's talking about Ole Miss
because they can't do it. They haven't been able to do it yet. I mean, heck, Lane Kiffin talks so much crap and can't do it.
Lane Kiffin's offense this year is going to be better than it was 2 years ago. When they won.
It has to be.
It's going to be so freaking good. And no one's talking about it. He's got 3 quarterbacks on roster right now that can start anywhere.
No, it's true, but you can't start them all 3. And what's his defense going to do? He can't stop anybody.
My number one thing is his defense to get better.
So I mean, if you can't stop anybody, you bring in any given Saturday, it's who scores the most points. Unfortunately, and it's
Ole Miss's biggest problem is how big their stadium is.
Yeah, that hurts them. That won't change anytime
20,
soon.
30,000, 40,000 people. That ain't going to cut it. Their team is this is his, what, 4th year, 5th year?
I feel like he's been there 10 years, man.
4th or 5.
Yeah.
But he finally has a full roster. He finally has his players he needs, and he keeps grabbing them out of the transfer portal. And he has a defense now that's not like top 10 or anything, but he doesn't need to be. He has a defense finally like top 20, 25. Yeah. That's just enough to get it done. So I would say, hey, everyone's talking LSU. Oh, Bama this, Bama that. No one in their mind is talking Ole Miss, and that is where Lane Kiffin likes. Lane Kiffin likes to be, I'm gonna sneak around. No one talk about me, then jump on you.
Problem is, by week three, he's gonna be running his mouth, so everybody's gonna be talking about him, and then nobody's gonna be sneaked up on because he can't shut up.
He'll talk his mouth. Lane will talk. Lane will talk if he can back it up.
No, he will, but he ain't gonna be sneaking up on after week 3. He won't sneak up on us.
But we're talking about preseason now.
I know. But we'll see. SEC Media Days is still a little bit away, so we'll see. We'll see how much.
Lane's learned how to play the game. Lane's learned how to play the game. He knows what he has. He knows what he has in his back pocket, and it's going to be really fun to watch this year.
But is he keeping his mouth shut because he flirted so much with Auburn last year, and he knows that if he opens his mouth right now, or did he learn, or does he know the game?
I think he's learned the game. Question. I think he's in his 40s now. He knows what he's doing. He's very confident in his roster.
Yeah.
And he's going to let that play out. And by week 3, week 4, Ole Miss is everybody's going to know they're there, And then, continuing the theme in the West, is this Sam Pittman's last year?
Yes. No, maybe. You got to think, though, he has what's-his-face here one more year.
He's been there for 19 years.
Yeah, so he's got him there for one more year. So I think he doesn't get fired this year, but I think that 2024 season, he's got a pretty rough schedule. I think 2024 is it for him. Now, if he goes and lays an egg this year, like 7 wins, he's as good as gone. But I
don't see how they can win 7 this year.
Well, it's going to be tough this year, but what's the quarterback's name again?
A.J. Jefferson.
Yeah. If that kid can just pull out 2 extra wins for him, get him to 8 or 9, he doesn't get fired. But then next year he's gone because without Jefferson is his only hope. But I think Pittman's awful as a head coach personally. I think he's an amazing offensive line coach.
I think he is a really good locker room guy.
Yeah,
and he can recruit. But when it comes to X's and O's, he's not that guy.
If Ra was a coach, man, Carnell Williams would be a head coach right now.
Right? Oh man. Trying to find. Let me pull up this Arkansas schedule. If you're still listening with us, I know we're just talking SEC football. You got it?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just scroll back to Arkansas. They open with Western Carolina.
Then they play BYU.
Then Kent State, then BYU. So there's no reason not to start 3-0. I know we're not
trying to get 3-0.
But then they go to LSU. They get A&M and Arlington. They go to Ole Miss, to Alabama, Mississippi State at home, to Florida, Auburn at home. Ooh. Then they get FIU and Missouri to close out the season at home. I mean, they have a murderer's row for the middle.
They've never had fun. They've never had a favorable schedule, but if you're in SEC, nothing's favorable. Yeah, Kent State, Western Carolina, they'll fight BYU at home, undefeated. At LSU, that game is normally played in October, November. That game is early this year. It's never been that early.
Nuh-uh.
And that's a rivalry game. It's for the boot, that trophy.
Yep.
So they're playing LSU, preseason contender for the West. And then they got to go to Ole Miss.
But you know what? They come out and smack LSU in the mouth, start 4-0. We're all singing.
They're not afraid. Song. They played LSU last year. That game was like 9-3.
Yeah, I mean, LSU almost lost to Brian Harson's Auburn last year. I mean, it literally who wanted to win the game, who didn't want to win. They just kept giving the other team a chance to win.
Notoriously, besides the Joe Burrow year, all their years that they've been really good, they never started off hot.
No,
they struggle bust all the way until October.
Yep.
And then October through November, they just figured it out. That's a very LSU thing to do. I personally think that LSU was, I would say, kind of fool's gold, even though they won the West last year and whatnot. A lot of it had to do with moving parts around them. You know what I mean? Like having Bama lose to Tennessee, there's moving parts around them because that LSU team that Tennessee played in September, late or early first week of October, did not look like the team that played in November.
No, but that's what Jake Crane said beginning of the season last year, is that if you catch LSU early, you got a chance to beat them, but they're just going to get better every week, and they did. He was right.
They will. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. We'll get in our SEC breakdown later this year, but me personally, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid with LSU. Everybody's up their butt. I'm not drinking it. I feel like they have no choice this year to start hot and stay hot because their schedule sucks.
True.
Their schedule's terrible.
No, it is.
Their schedule was more favorable last year than this year. This year's schedule's really rough. But let's finish this Arkansas thing. They got to go to Ole Miss. That's never easy. They got to go to Tuscaloosa. Yeah. They'll beat Florida if they have the depth that they're supposed to. They'll beat Florida. They'll beat Missouri. Maybe it's a home game. FIU. They'll beat FIU. So you're going to 1, 2, 3. They'll beat Mississippi State. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 wins. 7 wins. Sam Pittman's not keeping his job year 4 or year 5 at 7 wins. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. And it's not like he's got to go to Tuscaloosa. He's got to go to Ole Miss back to back. That's tough. Got to go to LSU. That's tough. Damn.
Hey, if Jimbo messes around and gets fired as well, is Archie going to call Jimbo up?
That maybe.
It's all
someone's
about
getting fired.
To me, it's all about who's available, whether they fire Sam Pittman or not. If there's not somebody available, I think they hold on to him one more year and wait a year, because Arkansas is not going out and getting the top of the top guys. You know, they're going to have to get somebody that's coming from Louisiana Tech or Louisiana Monroe or somewhere that just has an outstanding year and is a young guy, up and comer. They need to stop shooting. That's what Arkansas needs. They don't need to go after. I don't know. I don't even think they need to go after coordinators. They need to go and look at these smaller conferences, look at a Tulane or somewhere like that, and say, "Hey, you're doing great things."
Head coach, he's still there.
No, correct.
So Southern Alabama's coach, they won 10 games last year. He's still there.
But that's where they need to look. They need to look at up and comers.
Yeah,
The coordinator route's not working unless they go offensive coordinator. That's just the reality where the SEC is right now.
Correct. So, their schedule sucks. The SEC in a whole this year is going to be really fun to watch, but teams like Arkansas, they're going to struggle to try to get 7.
Yeah.
Here's another hot ticket. Does Billy Napier make it?
No.
Out of Florida this year? They fired year 2?
Yeah.
You think so?
Florida's not going to put up with it. Florida's not Arkansas. Florida's not Ole Miss. Florida's not Mississippi State. You have to win ball games down here in Florida.
And year 2?
I would. Auburn did it with Harsin. Look where we're at right now. That's what they're going to look at.
You think Billy Napier's is just as bad as Harsin?
No, I don't think he's as bad as Harsin. I don't think anybody on the planet is as bad as a guy that doesn't believe in recruiting and won't go out on Friday nights and recruit and won't go up to a recruit and shake their hand and say, "Hey, I'm the head football coach." Yeah. Instead, make you come to my office and meet me. Like, I don't think anybody's as bad as Harsin, but I think Auburn laid out a blueprint, and I'm not saying it's a good blueprint, but if you can't get your crap together in 2 years, Florida's just like Auburn. Florida and Auburn are very similar mentalities. They have a big brother, or if you want to call it a big brother, a rival that is constantly winning national championships. The only way to make your fan base not pissed off is to get rid of the guy that can't do it and go get somebody that can.
Yeah, I think.
Who do they hire? That's where it comes out. It's always the carousel. Who do you hire?
Well, I mean,
but if you only win 4 or 5 games,
yeah, just saying. With Billy Napier in Florida, I've seen it. I've seen 2 arguments this week. 2 for Billy Napier in Florida. One argument is saying, well, he inherited a worse roster than we know.
Maybe.
Okay. That being said, the roster that he inherited still had guys get drafted. Yep. He still had guys. If you look at the blue chip, the whatever the on 33 or whatever blue chip thing, they have a bunch of blue chip guys.
Yeah.
So you can't the excuse of the roster, the players that he has is not the excuse.
Only way he keeps his job is the excuse of AR's not there this year. Anthony Richardson's not there this year, and he needs another year with a new.
Well, you're not going to get it with Graham Mertz.
No.
You're going to get with Graham Mertz from Wisconsin. He's a game manager.
Yep.
Right. And so for me, I'm looking at it going, all right, cool. What I saw, and I still say this, what I saw in the bowl game against Oregon State was lazy, lackadaisical, no effort football by guys who didn't want to be there. And these were guys that weren't starters. They're getting their opportunity in the bowl game to prove themselves, because that's a leap forward. That's film for next year.
Yeah.
And they had dudes on third down in the first half, 3rd down and 5, whatever. That's when you're trying to get to the quarterback. They stood up. They stood up and were lazy. Like, I wish I could, throw the video on here, but like it was the whole game. And it showed me a lack of care, and it showed me a lack of, this man does not have his roster. He does not have his locker room and his culture set. And that was the biggest thing to take away when Billy Napier was hired year one. A lot of the Florida, fan base was like, this guy coming out of Louisiana Tech, yeah, he won some games, but there's a lot of hooper and hollering that he doesn't have his culture. Yeah, and they just came out of having Dan Mullen suck so bad for them that they didn't want to risk that again. But he was the best available at the time. So I personally think if he does not win to go to a bowl game this year, his seat's going to be one. He's going to be fired. But if he does go to a bowl game, then he'll definitely be super hot coming to the next year. And next year's not even favorable. It's a bloodbath, that schedule for them. It's insane. Like we already said it earlier when you were gone. Their non-conference is Miami, Florida State, and UCF.
Yeah, they're losing 2 or 3 of those.
2 or 3 of that. That's your non-conference.
Yeah, they're losing 2 of those games, and I'm telling you right now, the one game that I don't think they're losing is Florida State. Go ahead and mark it down now. Gus Malzahn's
for next year or this year?
Do they play UCF
or UCF?
Do they play UCF this year as well?
No, they play next year. This is next year's. Yeah.
I don't even know what UCF has coming in next year, but I know how Gus works, and Gus is guaranteed to have one big upset a year, and that'll be it. But I think they'll beat Florida State.
UCF, as the new teams coming to the Big 12, they have the best potential to get their roster, I would say quickly adequate. To get the fastest time to make it as an adequate Big 12 roster because of Gus.
Yeah, because he knows how to build an SEC. Sorry. He kind of knows how to build an SEC roster. When you don't recruit a left, you don't recruit a tackle on offense for 5 years out of the 7 or 8 that you're there, then maybe you don't. But
he knows what he's doing.
You can get around. You can get around it probably in the Big 10 more than you can in the SEC.
Yeah, in the Big 12.
Big 12. I'm sorry, Big 12.
Yeah, Gus is. But so next year he'll have a very in-depth roster that one, he's going to have his offense rolling. So he's going to have his offense rolling next year, and if Florida don't have what they need, they'll get Florida in Gainesville. I can see it now. And the last time they played was in the bowl game, and they beat the crap out of Florida.
Yeah.
In the bowl game. And so like UCF, like all they are, I mean, these are players that stayed in the state that are just as good, that can play. They just wanted to go to UCF. Either rosters didn't work out for them, whatever. But now they're big Power 5. So, and I can see a lot of guys. I can see a lot of money. These boosters in Orlando, because there's a lot of support for UCF.
Oh no, there is
a lot of support, especially now that they're moving to a Power 5. Shoot, next year, you don't think the bounce house wants to go to Gainesville and take over Gainesville? I bet your ass they do.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if one of these, like this Universal or Disney company, with Comcast on Universal and then Disney obviously being an entity there. I actually don't know if Disney could kick money in because of the ESPN thing, but it wouldn't shock me to see if, some Universal money gets kicked to them or something, so.
There's some boosters coming from somewhere because the last thing they want is not to be relevant, but no, the only thing they want is to be respected. You see it. That's like their desire is to be respected.
Yeah, they'll have some big money. They'll have some big money
coming in the next couple of years.
With Publix being such a presence down here, and I don't think Florida, Miami, or FSU really uses Publix as a sponsor, and I know UCF will. I mean, heck, here in Central Florida, there's a Publix every 3 miles, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
You throw a rock and hit a Publix.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see something like somebody like a Publix or something, one of those shareholders come in and just kick tons of money into the program.
Yeah, let's look at this 23 Florida. Let kick it off. Let's look at their schedule, right? See if Billy even makes it this year. They start off with Utah at Utah.
Yeah, I know
that's not favorable at all. That's not even fair, right? So that's a loss. They play McNeese. That's a win, but then they play Tennessee at home at 7 p.m. That's a loss. I think that's a loss. I think Tennessee is.
Yeah, I've got them losing it. I got them losing it.
I don't care. It'll be the first time Tennessee goes down to Gainesville, and crazier things have happened. But I feel like last year Tennessee got over a major monkey off their back by beating Alabama and Florida. It's just like something happened, like magically, where it's like these guys don't fear these rivals anymore. And it was with all sports, not just one, but all sports, which is weird. Am I? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, I'm playing you again. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna beat you. Like, it used to be, oh, I'm playing them. Something weird's gonna happen. So I see that as a loss. I think it'll be a good first half, but then we'll see what I think Tennessee as a roster and a coaching staff is better. They can scheme something up. And the last time they played in Gainesville, Hooker's first year, Tennessee didn't have any. They didn't really have a lot of depth, and they were still they're 7 points back going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So what's year 3 going to look like, right? They play Charlotte. That's a win. So they'll be 2-2. Then they have to go to Kentucky. I can see Kentucky beating them.
Nah,
you think they beat Kentucky?
Yeah, I don't think Kentucky's got it this year. I don't believe in them at all.
All right,
so I got a
3-2 going into October. They play Vanderbilt at home.
Win.
So 3-3. They go to South Carolina.
I got a loss.
That'll be a night game. I think that's a loss.
I got a loss. Yep.
So they're 3-4.
Georgia and Jacksonville is a loss.
Gainesville, that's
Arkansas at home. I actually have them losing to Arkansas as a
I think
very
that's
close game.
Because we just talked about Arkansas. I can see Arkansas going down there and beating them. So that's 3-5, 3-6.
Yep.
At LSU.
That's 4-6. 4-6 right now.
4-6, excuse me. At LSU.
That's 4-5. 4-5. Yeah. So then at LSU, I got a loss.
4. Yeah, 4-6. LSU, that's a loss.
Yep.
It's a loss. At Missouri.
Win.
You think
Don't care. Missouri ain't gonna beat them.
That's still 5-7.
I've got them at 5. Well, they finished the season with Florida State, which I got a loss, and that finishes 5-7. If they beat Florida State, which I think they could, that puts them at 6-7. I think that their ceiling is a 7-win season, and that would be beating Florida State and Arkansas. That would give them 7 wins, or even a South Carolina. But I do not think they go and beat South Carolina, Arkansas, and Florida State. I think they're losing 2 or 3 of those.
I think they're
if not all
Missouri
3.
Missouri.
They might.
This is Drink's 4th year, and he has actually finally returning good offensive roster.
Yeah, it's possible.
Whew, that's a tough one.
That's why I said Napier's gone.
Yeah, I don't see if he loses 7 games, he's gone.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that at University of Florida.
You can't do that at University of Florida. They have a higher standard of life.
Yep.
They have a higher standard of football. Like their baseball team is in the Omaha right now. Like that's the level of University of Florida. So, man, bless them. Question is who you bring in. It's definitely a destination that people want to be at.
Oh yeah,
we'll see, man. This has been good. I mean, we're at hour 2. Going into this thing, we've talked a lot of sports. I'm probably this is gonna be a second segment kind of thing. I'm gonna have 2.
Yeah, I may have to split this up in 2, maybe 3.
Split this up in 2 or 3, which is fine. That's what we do. That's what editing's for. I will say this: getting into rosters again with SEC, we have South Carolina. We already talked about them. We talked about Kentucky. We talked about Florida. We already know what Georgia has. I could talk Tennessee if you want. I mean,
we need to say some for our SEC episode.
Yeah.
Let's save it. Let's save it because I know me and you both will spend a lot of time on our home teams. That's why
we talked about Auburn, but
that's why I spent 2 minutes on them.
Overview of college football. It's going to be great this year. SEC is going to be fun, but also the Pac-12. We can get into that, but that's going to be the most electrifying week by week, in my opinion, if you have to stay up and watch these games because they're all going to start at 10 o'clock. And then the Big Ten is going to be pretty good this year as well. A lot of moving parts this year, a lot of transfer things, a lot of portal kids, a lot of money going around with Neil. Is there anything else, Jake? We talked a little bit NFL. We talked a little bit of this. We can get more in depth later on in our NFL talks and stuff like that. But is there anything else, Jake, that's on your mind that you just want to get off and just talk about? Anything come to mind?
No, I don't think so. I think I got all my stuff out with a little bit of soccer. Getting my footy talk, man. That was great. I've been dying ever since the World Cup ended. I'm like, I gotta get some football in here, some not American football in here. So I think getting that was my my nice little 15-20 minute rant.
It was not even a rant. It was it was literally
just
educated. You taught me and you taught Scott and our viewers all about how big of a deal Messi is coming over to America.
Biggest, and it's crazy.
It's the biggest thing since the Beatles.
It might be. It
might be. And the Elvis going to China.
Yeah, it could be.
This is massive. This is global. Our kids are going to be reading about this in their history books.
Yeah. Well, mine will be watching it firsthand because I'm.
Well, yeah, but then they can reference it.
Because I'm that guy. But he's not going to remember. He's not.
Children's children are going to be speaking about Messi coming to Miami. Oh, I love it. I love sports. The Back Porch loves you guys. Thanks for listening along with us. Continue to like, subscribe, and follow all of our things. We're only just getting started. This is just the beginning. We're not even at year 1 mark. September 1st week of September starts year 1 for us, and we're not even there yet. So continue to like, subscribe, follow all the fun stuff. We talk prop bets. We talk futures. We talk, Lions and Tigers and Bears and football. And we didn't even talk about Ted Lasso. But hey, we'll get that next episode because
we'll just have to do a whole. We'll just have to just do a whole Ted Lasso episode of the thing, man. That's just
it's been
legendary
amazing.
Show.
It's been an amazing, amazing show, and from all of us to you, have a good week. Have a good weekend. If this is in the future, if you can find us, come find us. Be our friends. Hopefully, we'll be doing this thing from a network studio because we've gotten a whole lot better at it. Here we are. Out.